Hello, and thank you so very much for joining me for another session. So I'm going to be doing a throat chakra Reiki cord cutting today. I'm going to be using my beautiful blue quartz here. This is a Lemurian quartz. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull and cut. So what is your throat chakra? Your throat chakra is your expressive place where you're able to talk out your emotions. Also, there could be blocks on this if if anyone's ever tried to kind of come for you and attack you and target you. So like it can put a block, an energetic block or an emotional block that manifests itself physically to the point where you feel shut down. Like if you were abused and you feel like you can't speak your truth or you can't speak up and ask for help. So this is important to clear out the throat chakra. So I'm going to be pulling and cutting in this energetic session. Hello for you guys who don't know who I am. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Okay, I am a Reiki master. I got certified in 2019, Reiki 1, 2, and master. I'm also a shamaness. Okay, I'm a medicine healer, a medicine woman. I've never picked up a book of herbs or crystals. I've had my first crystals since I was a little girl, like 5. And I use metaphysical healing so it could help me in my daily life, whether it's crystal energy healing or making a herbal hot tea from Mother Gaia's star anise and cinnamon stick and oregano and clove and things like this. So I also am very aware and knowledgeable about reincarnation, past lives. I'm a clairvoyant visionary. I'm a clairsentient. A clairvoyant is psychic seeing. A clairsentient is psychic feeling. And a claircognizant is psychic knowing. Okay, and then as well as a past life reader where I could tap into also your chakras and then do your past lives to see. Okay, I'm also an Akashic Records reader. Okay, and I've had all of these gifts to where I was targeted and attacked for my gifts and my being a highly sensitive person. If you don't know what an HSP is, an HSP is a highly sensitive person. You can get the book on eBay or Amazon. It's called Highly Sensitive Person by Dr. Elaine Aron. And it explains the dynamics of like that person's personality or energy field. So we make up like very, very small percentage of the population. I also am a starseed incarnate to the point where I've had past lives in the Pleiades, a past life in Lyra, a past life on Pegasus, a past life on Orion's belt in both Bellatrix and also in Mintaka. I've had a past life in the lost world of Atlantis and a past life as well as in Lemuria. So what we're called is we're starseeds, and also Sirius, and also on Venus with the Venusian Fae. So we're going to be talking about all of these elements here today in the session. I know it's a lot. We're going to be talking about some of the gifts that I have that I could help with mankind, that I could help you with. For instance, my herbal knowledge about regarding candles. Like I know how to make tin candles. I know how to make any type of candles. I know how to make energetic metaphysical sprays that could help you in any type of, whether it's stress relief, whether it's manifesting, whether it's protection. Okay, so all of these are really important, and I have these gifts ingrained within me, to help the goodness of mankind. And I have so much light and so much, energy and love and a huge heart chakra to the point where I needed to forgive someone in my life. And it was my father, to the point where I had to heal that father wound so I could unleash and let my light out into the world. Okay, and it was a really long process, but I did it. Okay, and when I forgave him, like I felt him come out of the lost souls realm, like the darkness, and come and be the divine, assigned him to be one of my spirit guides or one of my guardian angels. So one of my past lives were the Venusian Fae. So the fairy elementals can be all around the plants and the trees, and you can't see them with your human eye, but you could sense them, and they're nature's angels, but they protect, Mother Gaia and what she grows on her beautiful earth. And I use all of this incorporated into my herbal teas. Some days, from a lot of trauma, like I won't feel like eating, so like I have to nourish my body in another way. So I'll make these hot herbal teas, and I'll use like star anise. I'll use like clove, allspice, oregano, cinnamon powder, cinnamon stick, turmeric. And I will be nourishing my physical vessel with this. Okay, and also, if you haven't read, or watched my video of A Walk in Soul, that's another video. But when I was on Destination Parkway and Sand Lake Road, after my family pulled a fast one on me, just because I was standing up for me and my children, I Marchman acted my nephew because he was using drugs, and then I Baker acted my sister because she was throwing knives and like throwing food at me, and then they were poisoning my baby. But then I ended up moving out to a hotel off of Destination Parkway and Sand Lake Road and buying a car. So what happened was I got attacked there. My ex-mother-in-law had actually, one day me and my daughters walked to a car dealership, and then my daughter said that her feet hurt. So then my ex-mother-in-law took that out of context and was like, she called DCF and lied to DCF, saying that I hit my child on the feet. And I'm just like, no, I didn't. And to the point where like her and my mother were calling DCF on me, to the point where they were trying to get my kids taken away. And I was just like, I was trying the best that I could. So I ended up moving into my car. I passed the urine test. DCF never took my kids. If anything, I had to make friends with a deputy sheriff, and she convinced my daughter's father to come and get my children, which we were already co-parenting from that summer. When the summer went into the winter, that is when I had to place a Baker Act on both my nephew and my sister to protect my kids, because my baby was getting attacked. What happened was that Caleb was hyperventilating one night. He wouldn't open his eyes, and he turned really red, okay? And it was after, like 5 hours after, my mother had called DCF and then had the guidance counselor come out and asked me and my baby to sit in her SUV, to where my nephew went to the room and put some sort of formaldehyde and some bird poop or dog poop, some concoction on all of my boxes right near Caleb's play yard crib, to the point where 5 hours later, Caleb was like not really, like, he wasn't opening his eyes. He turned bright red. Okay, he had burned his noodles with some hot powders and some hot chuleta, like Mexican sauce. And then he got away with all of that. And then they were holding my son down in the hospital, giving him needles and injections. I was freaking out. He was looking at me like, "Mommy." And I was like, like, I was so upset, and I was like I couldn't hold my baby boy. Like, all of these nurses and doctors were there. Then like they convinced my mother not to let me and my kids back into the house, to the point where I had to go to a hotel for 3 weeks, had to call my daughter's father to go get them, okay? And then I had to get out of the hotel. He returned them to me. Then I got my baby, from his father. He returned him to me because it was co-parenting. The state never stepped in and could take them on no legal grounds, because I don't do drugs. I passed the test. I wasn't physically abusing them. I wasn't abusing them, period. And all of this hearsay. So what happened was my ex-mother-in-law kept calling DCF on me, and so did, I think my nephew did, I think my sister did. It was like all of them at this point, because they didn't want my kids to live here, and then they were angry that like I had my kids in an environment and they couldn't do their drugs or sell their drugs the way they wanted to. And it was just like, it was a mess, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like, I didn't want to be here. I was on housing waiting list. I couldn't go get a job. I was waiting for this one to move out, my nephew to move out. He has no kids. He's 28. He doesn't have to be here. So tell me, why is he here? Why is he not with his dad? Or why is he not in a house with his mom and his brother and his fucking, you know what I'm saying, girlfriend? Like, why is he here? This is like prime example of energy vampirism, to the point where if people really dislike you this much, that they will literally intrude on your property, on your energy, and they will feed off of you, and they will keep feeding off of you, to the point where they'll make you so upset, they'll rage bait you, they'll take you out of your calm energy, and they'll put you in this like energy to where you're in fight or flight, and you're not in rest or digest, to the point where you know, you're constantly panicking inside. It does something to the nervous system, to like where I've gotten attacked so much by my own members of my family, and they blamed me for things that fucking wasn't even my fault, or that they got away with, that was within them, and then they spun that and put it on other people, to the point where, like, you know, now it's like they think that they ruined my reputation to all of these people. And it was like, okay, little did you know, is that you don't know how she was when she was in the psych ward and she overdosed on pills. And then, like, I had to watch her kids growing up. And then it's like, when my kids, when I needed help, it wasn't reciprocated. Like, I helped her babysit her kids, and I put up with all of that mess, like all of this like drug addict mess, like darkness, like so much abuse, whatever. Like watching my dad and my sister go and pick up my freaking ex-brother-in-law, who was drugged out on OBT on crack, who stole my father's car, the Thunderbird, and then I had to watch my mom cook spaghetti and invite the crackhead back in the house, and then like see all this shit, and then see my brother go on drugs later, to deal with what the Buchanans did and all the darkness that they brought into my family and our upbringing, and like to live with this truth and be like, wow. And then like when I had kids, and like, you know, I started procreating, and then like my sister would come for my twin flame. She tried to sleep with him. Like, I said this in the last video, but it's uploading right now, and it explains it in the last video. And then it's just like, she would try so hard to just have this false narrative, and then it went into my ex-mother-in-law, and you know, and then because she talked to my mom, my sister, and then she planted the seeds, and then that energy went into my twin flame, to where like all of this was like boom, and it like completely shattered our relationship, to the point where being a single mother is a special kind of hell, to the point where like Lucifer and Satan or whatever in the Bible, they don't even exist, to the point where the true hell is what humans do to each other, because hurt people hurt people. So like they try to create hell for me, or purgatory, if you will, the lost souls realm, for many years of darkness. And I'm a starseed, I'm a goddess incarnate. I also worked with the angelics, the cosmic angels. You know, I have lots of herbal remedy, like healer gifts, to where like this darkness has kind of latched on and created like a generational curse for the family. But it's like, if you're not careful to clear and guard yourself, even you can guard yourself with all of the prayers in the world and protection, to the point where these people will move in groups, and they will just start going in and attacking your character and defaming your name, to the point where it followed me to the plaza, just because I tried to stand up for myself and my children. And to the point where my ex-mother-in-law was like, tell me exactly where you were. And she manipulated me one day, and she was just like, I'm gonna get a hotel for you and the girls. Instead, she called DCF, she lied and made a report. DCF ran up on me and my daughters in the car one day. I thought it was people from the shelter. I was like, I thought you were like, you know, Jaquacia and Tamika, like, don't do that to me. She was like, oh, I'm sorry. And like, she was just so archonic. Like, she was so superficial. She wasn't sorry. She did run up on me, okay? And I was like, you want to call the father of my children? Because I've tried to take him to court, you know, for the girls, and he just doesn't show up anymore. I even had an attorney, to the point where it was just like, okay, I passed the urine test, so she laid off me. I wasn't on drugs. In Florida, you could have children, unfortunately, live in the car. You just have to pass the test. So she got off my back. And then it was just like, after that, it was just like the Denny's workers were on me. This girl named Elsa was like, you got kids living in that car? And she was like smoking outside, and I just walked past her like it's none of your fucking business. You know what I mean? So it was just like, I started getting attacked, and when those attacks came, and you are a targeted individual and you get gang stalked, okay? I was getting gang stalked in the plaza, to where they were burning my skin on my breasts, they were burning my skin on the back of my neck, they were burning my skin on my shoulder blades and back here, and in my face when I was sleeping with their cigarettes, because there was a blanket over my car. So like, I had my own nephew come up and do this, just because I was trying to protect my children from his brother and his mother, who are greatly detrimental and demented, to say the least, to the point where I like was in my car, okay, and then like all of this energy, it was like energy harvesting, and it followed me at the time, to the point where I was just being a targeted individual, to the point where I got sexually battered in that plaza. I literally got sexually battered by someone who worked at Denny's. And so after I left him, you know, it was reported, and then it was just like, my reputation got ruined because I told the truth again. So it was just like I couldn't win at the time, to the point where the undercover cop, he was friends and he dapped up an undercover cop. The same crooked cop that trolls the plaza, he's friends with him. So it was like he lied and said that he was trying to help me, and somehow he didn't get arrested. They tried to put drugs like GHB in Denny's pancakes and tried to trick and befriend me and my daughters, to the point where the drugs were in those pancakes. And then he brought like chicken fingers one time, and he was just like, you're gonna have to feed your kids. Like, that's it. Like, you could stay in my hotel room, but you're gonna have to do this and this, and there's rules. To the point where, like, I literally stayed there probably for 2 nights, and then like I took my kids and my stuff and I took my belongings back to the car after he stealthed me. To the point where it was reported, and then to the point where that ruined my reputation, and then the person who did it to me spun the narrative and played the victim, and then said that I was abusing my kids. And I never fucking abused my kids. If anything, I was a nurturing mother. If anything, I was walking through hell, trying to protect my children from abusers. And my whole reputation got just like blown out of proportion, out of control. To the point where, sorry you guys, I gotta get a drink. To the point where I was living in my car, and then people started making up more lies about me, which were not true, which spread to just different shopping centers. Okay, because what they would do was they would rage bait me and take me out of my calm element and make me look like a psycho, to the point where I was getting fed GHB through my bacon and my hash browns every day, and my daughter's pancakes, and they were also getting drugged as well. And the undercover cops knew about this. And they would try to set me up. And they had people with these red tags around their neck, these AI guys, tap into my phone. My phone was energy drained, okay? And then what else did they do? They literally had like Walmart females come throw drinks at my car, and then wake me and my daughters up at like 5:30 in the morning, or 6:30 or however in the morning, and then have like, they would even have the firefighters go and do their sirens, and there was no emergency. Or they would have like people in trucks like drive by and like beep and honk their horn so we would wake up. And like they were trying to put me into the matrix. And then if I didn't adhere, which at first I did, I got a job at Wendy's and a job at Bubba. But then something happened to where at Wendy's, people from PetSmart and Walmart got me fired from the Wendy's job. Okay, it was like these low vibrational girls who were like on the floor. They were like floor level associates, like cashiers or customer service reps, the same ones who were throwing drinks in my car. And then after that, they started burning my skin with like cigarettes and stuff when I was sleeping. And it's like they'll come for me in energy too. And I could feel it. You know what I mean? And today it's just been like the full moon energy is just so strong and potent that it's just like I could feel all of this so extra sensitively right now. Like I feel everything deeper, I mean. I had lemon earlier on my bed of spinach. And it was really good, in black grapes. And then one of the energy vampires came, and then she started siphoning my energy. I couldn't enjoy my meal. Or like if I'm doing a Reiki session, I'll feel them. Like whatever is in their mind about me, I'll get that information psychically. And it's just like, it's such like a bad energy, to the point where it's like at this point, I'm kind of back in fight or flight survival mode, to the point where I was in rest or digest, but these people are just so not maleficent, they're so malicious in their energy and their thoughts. And it's just like, is this really what you live for? Like, jealous people really could ruin your fucking life and your reputation. I'm not sure if I'm going to put this video out there right now because I'm like, the energy vampires, they're doing this thing in energy to where they'll just be really fucking mean and vile to like my sister will sit there and she will just order like all of this Uber Eats food and everyone else will be celebrating in the kitchen and I won't even be invited. Or like her son won't even say hi to me. You know, he'll just be like, I have nothing to say to you. I'm like, what the fuck did I do to you? Like, seriously. You got Marshman acted for 24 hours and you got Baker acted for what? Another 24 hours? And this is a life sentence of hell now. And even before that, it was fucking a life sentence of hell because they were taking advantage of me being a single mother, taking advantage of my vulnerability. So they were abusing my kids. They made my daughter piss on the couch. He did. He made my daughter piss on the couch. He was screaming. My other daughter said that he tried to touch her through her panties. And all of this shit was happening to where, like, after my twin flame and I got split up, it was just really hard to be a single mom of 3 children, okay? It was very hard with the level of my gifts and with all of their attacks. So, like, you guys just don't judge me right now. Like, I'm going through a trying time again. So I'm going to be pulling no. My own jealous sister, she sabotaged me. She sabotaged me from my Chili's interview a couple months ago. Her and my mother ganged up on me and sabotaged me. They, like, gangbanged, sabotaged me, like, in energy, to the point where it's so fucked up. They blocked my interviews. Like, my sister crashed my brother's car, and then my crackhead ex, my sister's crackhead ex, I don't have a crackhead ex. See how that destiny swap spirit tried to come through? But no, cancel, clear, delete. My sister's crackhead ex had went and taken my brother's clothes after he died. And then they took his really nice Chrysler 300. It was like a dope boy car, okay, with the nice rims all the way to Jacksonville. Just all of these disrespectful things that I know my brother would have hated if he was alive. You know, my dad and my brother, they're not here anymore. Nobody really ever protected me. I learned how to protect myself. I was hurt and abused by the people who are supposed to love and protect me. I'm going to end this session. You guys, things get really deep on the full moon. I'm going to come back in a calmer state. I just need to gather myself. I love you guys. If you can make a donation, I would appreciate it. I'm going to put my Cash App in the link below. Love and light, and blessed be.